Thank you for tuning into the Golden State Media Compass Football Podcast, where we talk the latest news, rumors, and games of the NFL and college football. From this year's latest signings to this year's breakout stars and all the news in between. As always, I'm Jeremiah.
Yeah, and I am Alex, and welcome back from a nice weekend, I hope. How was your weekend?
It was cool. No, nothing special. You know, I just watched the NBA Finals on Friday and watched the some baseball. So, here and there.
Good, man. Yeah. Good to hear.
I was actually jealous of my roommate. He actually went to the Giants game on Saturday, and I was like, oh, whatever. And then Buster Posey had a walk-off single. So, I was like, really? Come on.
I was pretty jealous of my weekend, too. My girlfriend went to L.A. to visit her family, and she went on the Warner Brothers tour.
Oh, really?
So she got to see all the – I'm a huge Batman fan. For all of you fans, I'm sure, that don't know. I'm a huge Batman fan and DC fan, so she got to see all that stuff, and she got to see Harry Potter stuff, which I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. And I liked Full House as a kid. She got to go to the set of Full House. She's a huge Friends fan. She got to go to the set of Friends. She got to go to all this stuff, and she just kept sending me pictures all weekend, just bragging, like standing in front of the new armored Batman suit from Batman v Superman. She got to sit on that Bat motorcycle, for those of you who don't know what the Bat Pod is, from The Dark Knight. Pictures of all the suit. Like, she's just bragging. She's out on like a, one of the broomsticks with the Harry Potter, cloak on in the cafe of Friends, all that stuff, just bragging all weekend. So, I spent my weekend pretty bitter. But, I'll go one day. I need to go one day.
Hey, speaking of Full House, did you happen to catch Fuller House yet on Netflix?
I'm almost done with it. Yeah, I like it.
Did you happen to see the episode with 100 Pence on it?
I did. I love that episode. So I went to a Giants-Dodger game last year.
Yeah. For
my birthday, my girlfriend again. She had bought us. We're actually going to the same series later this year in October. Because it's around my birthday. And so we went to, it was the last Dodger-Giants game of the year last year, and we're going to do 3 of that, pretty much the whole series coming up in October, the next home series for the Giants-Dodgers in San Francisco. And they filmed that part. Did you watch the episode?
Yeah.
The part at the field?
Yeah.
I was at that game.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so for the take me out to the ball game and the kiss cam thing, and most of that, some of it was filmed on another day, but I was there for that.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. Yeah, I know they filmed it actually in the stadium. It was.
Yeah, no, it was cool.
That's a funny episode.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see. So it was interesting.
Yeah, that was a funny episode. Yeah, that was I don't want to talk about for those that haven't seen it yet, but it's pretty hilarious.
And I laughed because I laughed because the in-game footage they showed definitely was not from that game. Nori Aoki, who is the former Giants left fielder, was not playing in that game. So it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Hunter Pence definitely didn't have a walk-off home run or nothing like that. So it was, it was weird.
But it was just for the show.
Oh yeah, it was for the show. But it was cool to be at. But not everybody can be on a Netflix TV show.
No. And
I can.
Yeah. No.
I have been.
No.
I mean, I was there.
You were there, but
I was an extra. Because they told us we had to sing, we had to boo her.
Did you have to sign something?
No, but they did say on the Jumbotron, hey, your likeliness might be used if we show you, in the crowd.
Oh, okay. Because now I have to rewatch that episode now.
I'm not in it.
You're not in it?
No,
oh, okay.
You can't see me, but you do. I mean, I am one of thousands of voices that boo her.
That boo Stephanie Tanner.
Yeah. So you guys have to watch it. But getting into today's show, enough of baseball and Full House. Excuse me, we have a pretty loaded show for you guys today. We have a couple contract extensions to talk about, a lack of agreement to a contract, and some SEC news out of the college world. So if you want to get it started, we have 2 contract extensions to talk about. The first being Cincinnati Bengals running back extraordinaire Giovanni Bernard signed a 3-year contract extension for $15.5 million. What do you think about this deal? Excuse me.
I like the deal.
Okay. Are you a fan of Giovanni Bernard?
Yeah, he actually he's done some good things in his time in Cincinnati. I know they have Jeremy Hill back there also, but I think they wanted to have one of those guys for the long term.
Yeah, and he's been outgaining Hill.
Yeah,
it's weird. He has a weird kind of compliment to Hill, but. Last year,
it works.
It works for the most part. But last year was his least amount of attempts in his career, but he had his career high in yards with 730. But he also had a career low in touchdowns rushing with 2. He had 5 both prior years, and he had 0 receiving touchdowns. which is kind of what you look for from him. Is he's that dual threat running back? You know, you look for those receiving touchdowns from him. You look for some of those rushing touchdowns. You know, and he only had 2.
Yeah, he's been used more of the receiving back.
Definitely, yeah.
More, and he had I think he club record for most receiving yards by running back in a game last season against Arizona, I believe. Yeah, 128.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he actually have I think for catches for a running back with 56 in 2013. So yeah, he's been productive ever since he came in.
Yeah, no, his rookie year he was really good.
Yeah,
I was telling my brother, I was like, man, get him on your fantasy team. He's gonna be good. I had him in one of my other leagues, and I didn't have space for another running back. Otherwise, I would have got him. He's like, no, I don't see it. And he was pretty good his rookie year.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
That I was like, on your face, man. I called it. But I think he's a good running back. I think, yeah, they definitely wanted to lock him up, and it's a friendly deal for the Bengals too. So
yeah,
it's
not a lot of money. NFL standard wise.
It's not. And then on the other end, another offensive player, Keenan Allen of the Chargers, signed a 4-year extension reported at about $45 million base salary, but it can grow to $49 with incentives, and it includes a pretty big $20 million fully guaranteed part of it, as well as a $9.5 million signing bonus.
Yeah, and I really like this deal because he is probably the number one. He is the number one receiver for that offense, and he was on pace for a huge year last year before getting injured.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the tricky thing is that I look at. He's only played 8 games in 2015. He only played 14, so a couple games short of a full year in 2014. And then his rookie year, he played 15. But he's had some problems with injuries.
Yeah.
You know, his productive rookie year, he had 1,046 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns. He hasn't produced the same at all. Yeah, he did get hurt, halfway through the year last year. But even the next year, he played in 1 game less and didn't come near those numbers.
Yeah, but I think before he got hurt, he had 67 receptions, and that tied him for most in NFL history over an 8-game span. It was tied him for third most.
Mm-hmm.
They tied him with Julio Jones and Marvin Harrison, who had a really good career. Yeah,
Marvin Harrison. Yeah, you could say he had a pretty good career.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But yeah, man, I really love the Keenan Allen deal.
Okay,
really love it.
I think it's a good deal. We'll see if he can stay healthy. I mean, again, yes, he was on a good pace last year through those 8 games. So you hope a guy like that can stay healthy. I think the Chargers need all the help they can get.
Yeah,
these last couple of years. Exactly. Yeah. So I think it would do them some good to have him on the field. And 4 years. I mean, I don't know the full talk of the money kind of deal. I don't know if that's necessarily good or bad for him.
Well, he can earn a mask of $49 million.
Yeah, with
incentives. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's playing for yourself too. So hopefully he can stay healthy. I forget what did he hurt last year?
It was a lacerated kidney.
Oh man, he's almost I'd say lacerated spleen, but that was luck.
Yeah.
That's that's a brutal.
Yeah,
injury.
dude. Before he got hurt, he had 725 yards, man, and 4 touchdowns, and it hurt honestly not having him on the field. It really kind of hurt Phil Rivers.
Oh yeah.
His loss on the field was definitely
a lot of their offense went through the tight end. I mean, and that's been Phillips' career his entire time in the NFL.
But he just didn't have that. He didn't have that outside guy to throw to.
Well, he didn't have a true number 1 receiver, I suppose you could say. I mean, you had him, and then he got hurt, and you have Gates, and you had in the time he wasn't hurt, you had Ladarius Green and Malcolm Floyd still on that team. A lot of young guys, though. Woodhead was there.
Yeah.
Throw the ball to him because not much of a running game occurred if you look back at Melvin Ingram's numbers.
Yeah, even Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I was like Melvin Gordon. If you looked at the year he had, he struggled as a rookie.
Yeah, and he was dealing with some injuries as well. But yeah, they need a guy like Keenan Allen on the field. They definitely do. I think he really helps them have a little bit more of a full offense, like you could say.
Yeah.
Gates can still do it, but having a guy like Keenan Allen, he's a good receiver.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can stay healthy, like we've been saying here, and he can start, producing the way that contract would show the Chargers hope for. You agree?
Yeah, I agree.
So you're nodding at me. I was like, do you agree?
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break here, though, at the Golden State Media Concepts football podcast. We'll come back with the news of Von Miller and the Broncos and their contract standstill. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. Football Podcast. There it is.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. In our next segment, we're going to talk about Von Miller and the Denver Broncos having a...
Who?
Von Miller.
Who?
Von Miller.
Oh, Super Bowl MVP Von Miller.
Yeah, Von Miller.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Okay. Yeah, and then the Denver Broncos actually offered a 6-year, $114.5 million deal to the Super Bowl MVP, but yet both sides haven't come to agreement.
You know what's interesting is apparently he was reported that he agreed to the length being 6 years and the money being $114.5 million, but he didn't agree to the amount guaranteed. It wasn't what he quite wanted.
The money guaranteed in the first 2 years or first year?
Throughout the contract, yeah.
Okay.
Apparently he wanted something about around $45 million guaranteed, and that was
instead of the 39.8.
Yeah, he wanted more than that. Yeah, and so that's something that apparently was the one thing he didn't agree on. Do you think that's something that's? Do you think that's good of him to not want to? Like, do you think that's really what's holding the conversation up in terms of a contract for him?
What, the guaranteed money?
Yeah, I mean, him not wanting that, or at least wanting more, I suppose.
Yeah, that's the thing that's definitely holding this whole thing back. But, you know, the Broncos have been unwilling to move any of the guaranteed money to this point. And ever since then, you know, the Broncos have signed linebacker Brandon Marshall, not to get confused with the receiver, and Emmanuel Sanders to long-term deals.
Did they do that today? Because I know they're negotiating with Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah. So they're moving on with those negotiations.
Oh, okay, moving on with the negotiations. Yeah. I'm sorry, I thought you said signed. Okay.
Oh, I might have did. My bad.
That's okay. Yeah, so moving on with signing.
Yeah, you know, they're moving on with that because this thing's at a standstill. And actually, I actually want to point something out. I was reading an article, and according to sources, I guess Miller went as far as cropping out Broncos.
I saw that.
Yeah, Executive Vice President John Elway. He cropped him out for a photo during the White House visit.
Listen, man, you can be upset at him for not getting a contract done, but that's still John Elway. You can't mess with a man like that.
Exactly, dude. Come on, man.
You can't mess with a man like that.
You can't do that, especially the guy that's in the front office that you're trying to get a contract with.
And there's people like, oh, he had to crop him out. It's Instagram because Instagram makes it's a certain size. But somebody had posted that picture already once, and it fit them all. So it was intentional. It was intentional.
The original photo actually included, you know, Coach Gary Kubiak, DeMarcus Ware, Peyton Manning, and John Elway. So and
DeMarcus DeMarcus posted it, and he can't be like, oh, it's a player only thing because he would have cropped out Kubiak too. So
exactly.
So I don't know. He's a little hurt, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, it seems like there's rumors that he's prepared to sit out this whole season.
Yeah, I have heard that too, and I don't know. Not having Von Miller on that defense, it
changes the defense.
It changes it so much.
He is such a good force. He can rush outside. He can blitz up the middle. He can cover for the most part pretty well. Yeah, he's a good open space tackler.
60 sacks in 5 seasons.
Yeah, he's playing pretty well, obviously. And, being the Super Bowl MVP last year, 2 forced fumbles. He is a very good player on that defense. And the defense is still going to be good, but you can't say it won't change the defense with him off the field.
No, not at all.
He's probably, I would say, the best regular linebacker in the league right now is Luke Kuechly. The best rush kind of hybrid linebacker in the league is Von Miller.
So best outside linebacker?
Yeah, but I don't know if I can only call him an outside linebacker because he does a lot. But I want to say kind of, outside linebacker hybrid.
He does a lot. He does a lot on that defense.
He does. That's what I'm saying is he can drop back in coverage. He can Remember the interception he had against the Patriots in the playoffs? He covered. It was either on Gronkowski or another one of their receivers, but he dropped into coverage in the zone, and it looked like Brady just threw it right to him. He, like we said, blitzes amazingly well. He's one of those guys that can get real low and almost sideways when he's turning the corner and still be fast. And he's crazy powerful. We saw him in the Super Bowl this past year just push Michael Orr. Orr had, he slid him, and that could be part
of the grass,
too. But he routinely makes guys look bad, and I think he should be paid as the top of his position. And,
he deservedly so. Yeah,
deservingly. Yeah,
especially in the sport when you put so much into your body.
Yeah, and a lot of us initially came out, at least I did. Thought that it was kind of a preconceived thing that he was going to get paid as the number one defensive player in the league. I think, like I said, the best safety in the league is up for debate. Whether it's Earl Thomas or you look at both sides of it, it's up for debate. Best corner, always going to be up for debate. Best linebacker, like I said, I have no question. Kuechly, Von Miller.
Yeah.
And then best D lineman, Watt.
Probably
those
most
are
arguably the best defensive player.
Most arguably. And it's like if the Texans had as relatively solid of a secondary as the Broncos and then lost Watt. That's just a different defense, But like I said, I have no problem saying those three are the best of their position, and they get paid. At least the other two get paid like it.
Yeah.
So Vaughn, I think he's onto something in terms of, I think he wants to be paid as that top offensive. Outside linebacker. I don't even know. I think it's more of a debate on who's number 2 at outside linebacker. You
think so?
Because he's hands down the best outside linebacker in the league. I think it's number 2. Who's number 2?
Who do you think is the number 2?
It depends. I would say, I don't know, man. I would say top 5. I think he's obviously number 1. You guys have guys like Tamba Hali, who plays well. I'm not saying he's number 2. You guys have guys like Mack, if Mack was standing. But you can't. He's obviously the only player to ever make All-Pro in 2 different positions, line and at linebacker. You can't say he's one, because they use him as both in a way.
Yeah, he does so much for that Raiders.
Exactly. You have guys like Terrell Suggs when he was healthy, and the way he plays. It's just so many players out there that play well and have good streaky years, but Von Miller is just so consistent with his dominance, So
yeah, like I said,
personally, I think he deserves that money.
Like I said, 60 sacks in 5 seasons. But I also want to point out they actually have a July 15th deadline to get this deal done.
Mm-hmm. So because otherwise he would have to play under the franchise tag. And I don't think he's going to do that.
No.
I think he'll sit out. But see, the tricky thing is they do have him under the franchise tag, so he can't I don't think he can negotiate with other teams. Like, obviously, he's under contract, but I think even if he refuses to sign that, or if he did sign it, I forget.
Yeah, he's a Bronco no matter what.
And they can do this for the next 3 years. You know what I mean? So they really have all the leverage in this deal, which is the tricky thing because it's completely opposite of Osweiler. Nobody knew for sure if Osweiler deserved the deal he ended up getting with the Texans, and everybody knew that the Broncos weren't going to give it to him. Vaughn deserves this kind of deal, but who knows if the Broncos are willing to give him to him because obviously Elway has that very big ideology, that he doesn't seem to want to shell out for one guy. They have so many playmakers.
He hasn't, and he probably never will do that. No.
Exactly. I mean, you saw how. I mean, they were obviously a Super Bowl team last year when they won it, and Osweiler helped with that. He wanted a lot of money. Elway wasn't going to, regardless of the fact that he helped them, he helped win games that have ultimately led to the record that allowed them to get to the Super Bowl. Doesn't matter.
Well, he knows his team. He knows his team.
He does, and he knows what it is to be a winner. You know, he played in Super Bowls, and he lost a lot of them, and he eventually won 2. And he knows he in firsthand knows what the differences between those teams were. There was a time where only he was the guy, and they paid him like that.
Yeah.
And there was a time in the late '90s, in '97 and '98, where it was him
and the other guys. Like they had
Terrell Davis, Shannon Sharp. Yeah. You have more than one guy, and none of those guys were being paid as the guy. I don't think any of them were making the money as the best in their position at the times of the Super Bowl wins. So I think he's got a good point, but I like it's hard to debate against Von Miller.
Yeah, it really is. Like he deserves this money. You kidding me? You can't lose that productivity in your defense.
Especially
that's the unit that pretty much won the Super Bowl for you.
Oh yeah, and what it almost looks like in terms of his stats is you're taking away roughly 10 sacks
a season. Yeah, exactly.
In a way, and also I'll say lastly before we take our last little break here, not only is he the best outside linebacker in the league in my opinion, he's top 10 players in the league to me.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah, and they have the NFL Network always has that top 100 you and I talk about. Guaranteed he'll be top 10, if not top 5. You have guys like Kuechly. You have guys, obviously offense always rules it. So you have quarterbacks in the top 10. Cam Newton's obviously going to be up there. You have guys like Antonio Brown and quarterbacks like, Brady and obviously Cam Newton, like we said, number one. Running backs, Adrian Pearson's always up there. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like Watt, Kuechly, all of them, I wouldn't be surprised if he's right there with him.
I think he's the number 2 defensive player in the game.
Behind Watt?
Yeah.
I want to say it goes
That's
Watt.
Because Watt can, honestly, he can play offense whenever he wants to.
Watt can play any position on the D-line.
Exactly. Anything.
Mm-hmm. I want to say Watt.
Von Miller,
Luke Kuechly.
Yeah.
That's my top 3.
Yep.
You agree with me?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't argue with Luke Kuechly, man.
Dude, he's a monster.
Dude, I love the way he plays the game,
he's
man.
Boston College monster.
Yeah.
I love that guy. I wish it was as a fan of a team like the Steelers who pride themselves on good linebackers. I would have so wished we had a horrible season the year before he drafted, so we could have got him. Oh my Lord!
Yeah.
But I digress. We'll take one last quick break here at the I'm going to nail it this time Golden State Media Concepts football podcast, and we will be right back with our college football news of the day and Steve Spurrier. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Coach.
Yeah, oh yeah. We'll be right back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast with our last bit of news. Don't go anywhere.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. And for our last bit of news today, I have the SEC and the old ball coach, Steve Spurrier. Yeah, you like that? Yeah.
It sounds like it's very reminiscent of something that happened right before the break.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, the news with the Steve Spurrier is the University of Florida will rename its field after Steve Spurrier at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium.
Otherwise known as the Swamp.
The Swamp, yes.
What do you think about that?
I love it, man. I love it. He was the most successful coach that they ever had.
Well, think of it this way. He is the first guy that went from greatest player in school history to greatest coach in school history. He was the Florida quarterback from 1963 to 66. He was the Heisman winner and Walter Camp Award winner, which, for those of you who don't know, is Walter Camp is the best, most outstanding player in college football. But no, he went on to coach. Funny enough, actually, his first year he coached there in 1978. He was their quarterback's coach. He wasn't retained because a new coach came in. But he became the head coach of Florida in 1990 all the way to 2001. He was the SEC coach 5 times with them, 90, 91, 94, 95, 96. All times with Florida. He won 1 national championship with them in 96, 6 SEC championships with Florida, and he was the first Heisman Trophy winner to coach a Heisman Trophy winner with quarterback Danny Wuerffel. I don't know how to say his name. He averaged more than 10 wins per season, and he was ranked in the final top 15 each of his 12 seasons there.
Yeah, that is.
How impressive is that?
He was also impressive at South Carolina also.
Yeah, that's where he is right now. He just stepped down.
Yeah, he stepped down.
Yes, but he was with with South Carolina with the Gamecocks for a while. How impressive is that resume, dude?
Dude, it is.
And he played in the NFL for a while.
Yeah, well, yeah, I knew
9
that.
seasons.
Yeah, I knew he played in the NFL, and I knew he was a player there, but I just didn't know all those averages that he just dropped on me.
Yeah, dude, that dropped some info on you, right?
Yeah.
That's like, I mean, how is this not named Steve Spurrier Field sooner, you know?
Exactly.
And he was responsible for the nickname of the Swamp.
Yeah, exactly.
He was partly responsible for that.
It's called the Swamp because of the old ball coach. So yeah,
he's a good dude. You know what I mean? He's a really good guy.
Yeah,
That's what it seems like.
He actually didn't even know about it. He knew he was going to get honored. He was in the middle
of an interview.
Yeah, he was going to get honored for the season opener. But I guess he found out through, the interview and all that, and he's like, what? So, yeah.
Dang, man, that would have been awesome to see him find out, at the opener, and they go, guess what?
I know, right?
Boom, we named it Steve Spurrier. Yeah. I feel like he would have cried or something.
Oh, he would have. I think he still might. I don't know.
Let me see if I can find a little bit of more additional information here on Steve Spurrier, because I read some stuff that I was sitting here and I'm just like, how can one man do this? You know what I mean? I came across all this different information, and I mean, the stuff that I went through just in general. I mean, there's 27 national titles in 25 years, with one AD there with him as well.
Yeah.
So through all the sports, so you can look at just how successful they were as a unit. But let me find this little bit of information. He won the national championship in the 96-97 season. I'm sorry, they won it in 97. They played in the one in 96.
They were runner-up 96.
He won at least 9 games in each of his 12 seasons. He was one of only 3 coaches ever to do that. He averaged more than 10 wins per year. He appeared among the top 25 teams in the weekly polls 202 of the possible 203 weeks.
Wow.
Including each of his last 202 consecutive seasons.
Yeah, they were a powerhouse because of him.
Mm-hmm. The Gators were ranked number 1 in the polls 29 times with him, and appeared among the top 5 teams 117 weeks, and among the nation's top 10 teams 179 weeks. Get ready for this one, because this one's this one is impressive.
Okay, but you're hyping it up.
He appeared in a bowl game each of his last 11 seasons, every season in which the Gators were eligible. One of only 5 schools to do so during the same time period.
Wow.
He's the only coach in major college history to win as many as 120 games in his first 12 seasons at one school, with an overall record of 122, 27, and 1.
Wow. He was also 87-12 in SEC play throughout his career at Florida.
And then we'll get his last. These are my 2 favorite, because it's one of 2, and he's the only person to do this. So the first one is he's one of only 2 coaches in major college history to win 10 or more games in 6 consecutive seasons, ranging from 93 to 98. And he's the only college football team. He's part of the only college football team to score at least 500 points, including bowl games, for 4 consecutive years.
Wow.
How impressive is that?
Very,
and like we said, is credited with creating the nickname The Swamp for the Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. In the early 1990s, he said, "A swamp is where Gators live. We feel comfortable here." And that was dubbed, since then, as The Swamp.
Yeah.
And he left on his terms. He just resigned, saying, "I simply believe that 12 years as a head coach at a major university in the SEC is long enough."
Yeah, he actually left coaching the NFL, actually. I think.
1 season with the Redskins.
Yeah, he went actually, I think it was 2. He went 12-20.
Had a bad year. Couple years.
Couple bad years, yeah.
But I digress.
He didn't translate well.
Guy.
Yeah, he didn't translate well to the NFL. But you can't, you can't knock what he did. You can't knock what he did.
And like we said, obviously he had a good time, good career with the Gamecocks as well. But we're not going to get into all his stats with them, because this is the Florida thing. But very impressive. Yeah, very impressive to say the least.
Yeah, very impressive. Probably the most successful coach in college.
In his span, I mean, you look at guys like Bear Bryant and a lot of different coaches. Nick Saban in the last decade, 2 decades. There's successful guys, but
even Urban Meyer too. You can't can't forget.
People are like, "Where's Urban Meyer at?" Because what he did when he was in Florida,
Exactly.
So you can't write off Spurrier, and like I said, the only coach to ever be a top guy at the university and then go back and coach and be the best coach in history. It's pretty impressive.
It's pretty impressive.
But that's, I want to end on a fun note today, and that was it. We're going to go ahead and leave you here with this episode. But tune in next episode. We talk about Colin Kaepernick a little bit in the 49ers, a little bit of Johnny Manziel news. Oh, man. Unfortunate second-year receiver Rashad Perriman in the Ravens. And we'll get into a little bit of information there. I say the Manziel news because, I hate talking about him. But
I'm sorry.
We'll bring the news.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just there wasn't much news to talk about this week.
It's all right. It's all right, man. But we will talk about that on our next episode, so you guys stay tuned. As always, I'm Alex here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
And I'm Jeremiah.
And you can find us on Twitter at GSMC_football and online at gsmcpodcast.com. Facebook if you search the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, as well as ongoing online at gsmcpodcast.com. You can find all the great shows we talk about every week here at the Golden State Media Concepts Network. As like I said last week, Jeremiah started baseball, so take a look at baseball. I do sports and soccer as well. All the great shows, entertainment, movies, TV, all those. So take a look at those as well.
Basketball's there too.
Basketball just started getting going.
Yeah.
So take a look at all the wonderful shows, and we will see you guys on our next episode. Don't miss out. As always, I'm Alex.
And I'm Jeremiah.
And we will see you guys next time.